Hello and welcome. Tonight on the show, we welcome heartburn with open arms. This is going to be the part 2 of YellowBird hot sauces. We have quite the lineup for you. You better appreciate our hard work. As always, thanks for listening and enjoy the show. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. Howdy, y'all. We are three partners exploring the Wild West of heat and pain with the second part of our episode on YellowBird sauces. I'm your host, Adam. I'm joined here this week with my co-host, Eric. Say hi, Eric.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening to us. We appreciate you taking the time to hear us struggle to get through the last 3 sauces here. I'm still choking over it, honestly, as you can tell.
You can pass it to Tori.
And thank you, E.
I know we normally go the other way, but
we
thank
do.
You, E.
Totally lost.
Yeah. Yeehaw, I suppose. And in response to that wonderful intro, thank you for that. Of course. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, absolutely. As we stated earlier, we are doing a 2-part episode. If you missed the first part, you want to go back and check that out first. We're doing YellowBird hot sauces. And I really wanted to thank you guys all for coming back to check out part 2. I wanted to put a little note in there. Probably if you like our show, you like what we're doing, and you want to support us, probably the best thing you can do right now is go on to iTunes or wherever you're listening to us at and give us a little rating, or if you really feel magnanimous, give us a little review. We don't really care what you put on there. If you want to say something about me making interruptions, or say that Sleazy's a piece of shit, or that you like Tori's intros, just put something down there that really helps us out for whatever reason that moves us up in their rankings. What do you got going on with you this week there, Tori?
I had a day off on Monday, and it was marvelous. I did absolutely nothing. Well, if you count sitting in the sauna for a couple hours, something, then that was...
Hey, that counts.
Something. Yeah, it was something, and it was terrific. I relaxed all day. It was terrific. I didn't go outside. I didn't go out in this stinking weather, so that's always a plus. It was great.
We should mention that too. We normally Pittsburgh we get snow every year, usually a little bit. Last couple of years we didn't really get a whole lot. This year, last night we got absolutely dumped on in a fashion that rarely seen around these parts.
Yeah, we got 10 inches in one night.
Yeah.
So that was
and
pretty
you didn't
cool.
even have to pay for it this time.
Wow. And it was heavy snow.
Heavy.
I didn't actually think I didn't have that much trouble shoveling. I actually thought it was kind of light. Although it did start kind of melting later on, like as the day came on today, and condensed it, I think.
I suppose this afternoon it was more wet and more condensed because of melting, but I think it's really good packing snow. Great snow for sledding and doing fun activities outside. If you enjoy this, which I know
I'll be in
Tori
here with the hot
not.
cocoa. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I'll be in here watching the television.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we kind of discussed the weather. I know we used to be one of our old standbys, but this was a nor'easter? Is that what was coming up? A winter weather storm?
That sounds good enough.
Isn't that what it was, Eric?
I think the nor'easter is actually hitting us tonight.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought that's
up
what this whole thing was.
Came up from the west.
Wouldn't that be a nor'wester?
And then it hit into the northeast, and now it's wrapping back around, which is the nor'easter. Wrapping back around.
That's the where it cycles around up there.
Yes.
Is that the deal? Okay, very good. We learned something today.
There you have it. I'm just happy as hell my snowblower fired up on the first pull.
Isn't that always satisfying when
Legendary.
you fire up a lawnmower or something, or a winter tool, and first pull? My dad bought me when I first bought my house, my dad bought me a push mower from Walmart. And I initially had my doubts because of its, place of origin. I'll be damned if that thing hasn't been phenomenally reliable, and I abused the hell out of that little thing. I mean, it's nice, it's lightweight, it's not self-propelled or anything like that. All it does is a motor that spins a blade.
Self-propel is very nice, though.
It is nice, but it adds weight, which
of course
is nice in certain circumstances. It's not in others. And for this thing, I can tell you right now, I use the thing as a brush hog. I take it out back. I'll just plow through thorns and stuff with it. I don't care. I take it through anything. Yeah, I abuse the hell out of this. I'd mulch leaves with it. I just figure I'll beat the hell out of it, and when it breaks, I'll get another one. But it is started up. I don't think it's ever not started on the first pull.
A 4-stroke weed whacker with a blade.
Yeah, I use it as a weed whacker and everything else.
Okay.
Don't you also have a riding mower on the side of your property?
I do. Which I've been meaning to give to Tori since I don't really have any good use for it.
What am I going to do with it?
I don't know.
You said it doesn't have brakes or something, right?
It's kind of a little wonky on the brakes. I don't know. I got to test it out a little bit. I haven't ran it since I got it, unfortunately. That was another thing. My dad was a little bit more generous than he should have been, perhaps, because I don't really, like I said, I don't really have a use for it. It's just kind of sitting there taking up space, and I feel bad that it's, it'll just be inoperable one day from sitting outside, but I don't really have a good excuse to even run it.
Well, I know your wife enjoys the snow. She's been throwing snowballs and throwing stuff on my car and going out for her walks every day and taking pictures to share with all of us. And
yeah, she's a regular photog. Yeah, she appreciates the aesthetic. She got a Subaru now, so she just plows through it.
That's true. Yeah,
That's right.
I was bet she's been loving that. I know last year, like I said, we didn't really, because you got that when? It was before last year, right?
It was October of last year.
That's what I thought. And we didn't really get much snow to test it. We got like maybe one decent snow last year to test it out. But they say that we got more snow last night in one fell swoop than we got the entirety of last year, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I definitely believe that.
Which makes sense based on, that's the thing. I'm from Northeast Ohio originally, and this kind of snow, and as well, Eric.
Oh, absolutely.
This kind of snow is par for the course up there. You might get this several times a month or worse. And to be honest with you, they did a heroic job of plowing the streets. Yesterday, I didn't have any trouble getting to work this morning at all. The streets were phenomenal.
A little sloppy on the way home yesterday.
Yes, on the way home, they were still working on it. That was tricky. But yeah, going to work this morning, it seemed, like I said, they did a valiant effort.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. My biggest worry was getting out of my parking lot, of my.
That was exactly me too. I needed a little bit of 4-wheel drive assistance to get me out of the driveway, but
I was spinning a little bit this morning, and I just eased it up a little bit. Well, actually, no, I was going slow, so then I just gave it a little bit of gas and got me through a little bit more, and then I was able to put it forward and get just enough to get around and not crash into my garage. But
very good.
It was a pretty nice morning, pretty hectic day at work. It's been a hectic few weeks. We're just busy as can be, which is great. But
maybe you can just quit and podcast full time.
There you go.
Work on podcast art.
That'd be cool. Start my own Fiverr account.
Yeah, there you go.
There you are.
Well, in any case, to try to bring things back around a little bit, this is like we mentioned several times earlier, this is a 2-part episode on YellowBird hot sauces. Now, last week we had covered the first 2 sauces that we believe to be the milder 2 of the 5 hot sauces. The first one was the blue agave sriracha, and the second one was the jalapeno condiment. As we mentioned last week, all these sauces are with the exception of the blue agave sriracha, the rest of the sauces are all just the name of a pepper followed by condiment.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, they're kind of weird, but they're interesting flavors to them, I think, and they are USA made, so
there you have
good
it.
Christmas present.
Yeah, in Texas, which I guess touched on last week, where it's debatable and where in Texas. I think we got 2 different reports.
Well, I was actually thinking a little bit about that, and I thought it might be nice after we're done with this episode tonight if we kind of reached out to YellowBird Sauce maybe for some of their input. They're a smaller company. Some of these bigger brands might not, give a response to us, but I thought maybe if we reached out to them on like an Instagram with some questions, they might get back to us. Like, why is your packaging on your samples so plain? Why the choice of the word condiment? Why the range on the heat values of the sauces? Just some strange things that they have going on.
20 questions.
I noticed that looking up hot peppers on Google, even it seems to be like a range seems to be actually pretty common. I think.
No, and I think we had discussed that last week. Is that the range for the listeners that didn't for some reason are listening to part 2 without listening to part 1, or maybe you've forgotten, maybe you had to take a year break from us or so. The way that they put these on their website, they have the blue agave sriracha listed on Scoville heat units from 1300 to 2600. The jalapeno condiment from roughly 1200 to 2500. And then the ones we're going to be talking about tonight, they have listed the Serrano from 1600 to a little over 6000 Scoville units. The Habanero, they have a range anywhere from 15,000 to 55,000 Scoville units. And then the only one they didn't have a range for was the ghost pepper at 23,000. So that's what we're kind of referencing. Now, I believe we discussed last week that, yes, peppers in general, depending on the individual pepper, it could range anywhere in that range of heat. But generally, when you're talking about a sauce, it's something that's kind of blended in batches. you should have, at least for that batch, you should have a known heat rating, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I don't really have too much to add in terms of hot sauces. I mean, I'm not a big time connoisseur of them. I understand why they're popular. It's just not my thing. But the range does seem a bit too much, a bit too wide for someone who doesn't appreciate it and maybe was trying to get into it. And we may have touched on this last week, but that would be an automatic no.
Right.
In this digital age, though, I do wonder, we have this current vaccine that's being tracked all around the
God, here we
US.
fucking go.
You opened with COVID last week, if you recall.
Yeah. I did open. I didn't didn't even do a deep dive. We didn't get any conspiracy theory yet.
I'm not going down any conspiracy theory.
I can see your eyes are going conspiracy.
Wouldn't it be neat though if a small batch hot sauce company were to make a small batch, test it right there on site as they're bottling it, and actually label those bottles and say, look, this bottle came from batch such and such. You can look it up online and see what Scoville units this current batch is.
What the fuck does this have to do with vaccines?
That's a good question.
The tracking.
Okay.
The ability to track our batches and track every single bottle that's being put out, put a unique identifier number to it, send it out to send out to your dispatchers and whatnot all over the U.S. if you wanted to, and you'd be able to have a database that would
that's actually a pretty common manufacturing tool to put like a lot number on the bottle. For all I know, there is one on here. We didn't look that closely, but I would almost be surprised if they didn't do that. But I know a lot of like small batch products, and they do this a lot for alcohol. They like to kind of play up like sometimes they'll have a little quote unquote handwritten little lot number or a date on there, or a batch number or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it kind of plays to that kitschy little hipster type thing, but I could see it. I could see, maybe not in the sample size, but I could see them doing something like that on here.
Sure. No, I wouldn't see it in the sample size likely as well, but I just think it was, interesting for you to bring up the fact that, well, if it's blended and it has a certain heat level, wouldn't they be able to tell right then when they're bottling? Well, yeah, they certainly should be able to. And then why couldn't they send out a notification that, hey, or just post it on their website, like I said, just to get traffic to people coming into their website.
My suspicion is that this is just laziness on their part. They didn't want to. I don't know. Actually, to be quite frank with you, I have truly no idea how you measure a heat rating unless it's just subjective, which I can't imagine maybe they have a standard somehow, but I don't think there's like a Scovillometer or something like that measures the heat. So maybe they don't have a way of knowing for certain where they're at with that.
That's a good point, man. Yeah, I wonder how they do measure that.
Another quandary here for you. So say you have one of these sauces with two different peppers. The two peppers naturally, of course, have different Scoville heat ratings or whatever. So you put those two peppers in the same sauce. Does that compound? Do they complement each other? They certainly don't subtract from each other.
I would think you would take the average by volume.
By mole. By.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, as opposed to like the average by, number of peppers, because one may be smaller and one may be larger.
Yeah.
So if you have a small one that's, 100,000 Scovilles and a large one that's, 5,000, you're not going to average them out to whatever the minimum.
Anywhere between 8,000 and 45 grand. Yeah.
I don't remember what numbers I said.
Throw a dart. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted you to riddle me that, Batman.
I backed myself into a math corner there where I almost had to do live math. Which brings us into a little bit of a teaser for future in the episode here, because this isn't going to be technically live, but we did make a unanimous decision. Okay, it was decided for us by me that we would be trying.
By me. You make a great politician.
That we would be trying the last of these sauces, the one that we predict to be, at least on average, the hottest, the ghost pepper condiment. We're going to be trying that on air, live on air for the listeners. We've tried the other two in advance, and we've reserved our thoughts until now.
And this week we also tried something a little bit different too. We also are trying the sauces on a food instead of just by itself on a toothpick.
Right. And a reason I wanted to do that, particularly this week, is that last week I had mentioned a couple of times about how I get kind of like that burn in the back of my throat that I feel like is almost like a false heat, because I don't feel like it translates to a lasting heat for me. Whereas I feel more like the heat that I get on my tongue, especially the front of my tongue, tends to be more of a lasting burn and more indicative of like true heat, if you want to call it like that. So for these hotter sauces, I wanted to really get a good idea of what kind of heat we're actually talking about here.
That's interesting. Where does the heat burn for you? Like you say on the tip of your tongue, whereas I think mine's more center mass of the tongue is where I really register
Center,
heat.
roof of the mouth,
Yeah, okay.
I would say primarily in order of like time where it hits, I would say probably tip of the tongue, a little bit of the center of the tongue, sometimes throat, and then usually the next day my butthole.
Okay. That was a level of detail.
TMI.
Hey, call it like I see it.
I mean, obviously, there's definitely heat to be had in the back of the throat, and I'll definitely talk about that in some of the reviews of the two that we talked.
You started in a movie called Throat Heat, is that correct?
No.
Part of your OnlyFans collection?
It's a blog.
So, since I don't know how long this the pre-recorded live portion of the show here is going to take, I think we should probably jump right into our kind of initial notes on tasting for this. The first one that we tasted, right in the middle, heat-wise, as far as the website is concerned, in our own estimation, the Serrano condiment. Now, why don't you give us a little bit of we touched on this briefly last week, but let's give a more in detailed description here this week of the sauce itself there, Eric.
So this, I think we did touch briefly on this last week. We said it was the only one that was really like green in the grouping, and it is like a greenish brown, almost kind of like, I mean, it looks like what you would expect a pepper to look like.
Like a rusty green.
Yeah, rusty green.
Like an olive drab for those of you maybe like military uniform color. Maybe a little brighter than that, more yellowy.
And then the outline around the label is a bright green. Yeah, like I said before, the label doesn't have a whole lot going for it.
Right. Kind of disappointing. What do you think about the consistency of that there,
I think this
Tori?
is the watery. Okay.
I want to give Tori a chance to talk. What do you think about the consistency there, Tori?
A little bit watery, a little bit on the watery side. I liked it. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into the ratings. I think we're on the description portions too. But yeah, a bit on the watery side. It clung to the side of the bottle like it is now. It clung to the side of our Dixie cups. Yeah, I liked it. That was the best one going thus far, in my humble opinion.
One thing that I kind of noticed about these is that despite I'm assuming that if you're manufacturing for this, you would probably use, a lot of pretty similar ingredients in them. The one thing I noticed for these sauces, the 5 that we have here, all very different consistencies and textures. They're not, very different from sauce to sauce in terms of, like we had mentioned, viscosity and texture and mouth feel, if you will. But we can go ahead and kind of jump into our initial tasting notes on that. Tori, do you want to kind of lead us off on, what you thought right up front? I mean, you gave us a little preview there.
A little teaser. Yeah, I know you're hanging on the edge of your seat. I would be too. It's okay. Yes, I liked it. It was surprisingly good. I was surprisingly pleased. I really can't say I had no expectation.
And you've mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned this on the podcast before, but you're not a fan of hot sauces. Is that correct?
People make mention of that. Yeah, I think I may have mentioned it once.
Oh, okay. It may have been a long time
once
ago.
Once or 100, yeah.
Once or 100 times.
If I may do an impression, no, I don't like it, no.
Oh, you're going to hear that a lot later on. So,
yeah, that's what I'm
stay
anticipating
tuned.
already.
Yeah.
Well, we already got a little preview of that as well.
Stay
because
tuned.
No, on my initial tasting of the Serrano, I was really blown away. To me, this was the standout. And I don't know, normally I prefer my hot sauces red. I don't know if that's like a visual thing or something. Maybe just a little... The only time I like to break from that is when I'm doing like maybe a green chili chicken or something like that. Maybe I think that's pleasant, but in general, I'm more a fan of the red hot sauces. But this one, of the 4 we have already tasted, was by far the standout to me. I thought it was similar in a lot of ways to the jalapeno from last week, only kind of stepped up a notch. Definitely more heat to it, but almost like a creaminess in the texture or something, which I found, frankly, delightful. I think the texture on this one was definitely the best so far. I don't like the ones that are too watery. And I almost got a little bit more of a fruity flavor too, like a lime zest type of flavor to it. I found it delightful, though. I thought the heat was where I wanted it to be on both the chicken nugget and by itself on the toothpick, but I found it to be the most pleasant so far. What about you there, Eric?
Just real quick, did you say you liked the texture of this one the most?
Of the Serrano.
The Serrano, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you say you didn't think it was too watery, but this is
right.
the most watery of all the sauces.
You think so?
Compared to what? You think the jalapeno was more watery?
I thought the habanero was more watery. Like, it was more separated, maybe. Like, there was
I mean, we're looking at the bottle right here. You can see the habanero is like clinging to the sides where the Serrano is.
I'm referencing my notes.
Clearly dripped down the sides of the bottle. All right, well, no, yeah, I really like this sauce. I thought it was the most definitive sauce tasting like the pepper that it's supposed to, right?
Really?
I mean, it smells like Serranos. It tastes like Serrano pepper. Actually, I got a little bit of like you said, like freshness out of it, like a little bit of lime or onion a little bit, I think, when I was sniffing into the cup a little that we were trying it. And the heat level was
I saw
enjoyable.
you trying to use the bottle like a neti pot. I don't know what you were trying to do there, but you said you wanted to get it all the way
right
in.
I liked it a lot. I do. There's a Mexican dish that they like bread and stuffed with cream cheese, like a big green. I think that they're actually
Poblanos.
Poblanos.
I should have let you go for it. It's always more funny when I let you go for it.
Right. Thank you.
And we end up with classics like the putang sauce.
They'll never get lived down.
It was a classic.
And I don't know what the difference is between a Poblano and a Serrano, but
there's a massive difference.
To me, that's what actually this sauce reminded me of, though, was eating Poblano peppers at like a Mexican restaurant.
Poblanos are actually pretty mild. I think that's the pepper that they use in like a chili relleno, which is that one dish with the pepper and the cheese and stuff in it.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up on the phone before the podcast. That's what I kept finding was all these Poblano,
right? Chili
rellenos.
And it's more like it's got a little bit of heat to it, but it's more almost like a thin bell pepper.
And actually, I wrote that in my notes. I said this almost has like a bell pepper aftertaste to it. It really tastes like pepper to me. I don't know. I really liked it.
I got more of a jalapeno vibe from it, but I think sometimes there's a pretty good crossover between Serranos and jalapeno. I mean, obviously the Serranos have a lot more heat to them. Color-wise, and I think flavor-wise, they have a bit of crossover there.
Does anyone want to take a stab at the secret ingredient? That's the second ingredient on this.
I was actually hoping you would actually read the ingredients on this because is it margarine? Please tell me it's not margarine at the very least.
A little too runny for margarine.
But it is tied into the runniness.
Hold on, let me get a guess.
And maybe think the color.
Olive oil.
Bean. Oh, I just had a good guess. I was going to say soybean oil.
It's cucumbers.
Really?
First ingredient is Serrano peppers, followed by cucumbers, then onions, organic carrots, organic distilled vinegar, garlic, organic cane sugar, salt, lime juice, and that's it.
I think that flavor I was trying, like that feeling I was trying to describe earlier of almost like a creaminess, I think that's where it was coming from. I think it was from the
coolness. Yeah, cool as a cucumber.
Because it was and I think maybe, man, that was a really well balanced sauce. And I think between the heat of the peppers and that balance that they're bringing with the cucumber and the carrot that they threw in there too, which I think is in a lot of these sauces
I think every
that they
one
make.
Of them, yeah.
They really nailed it on the balance for that. And like I said, this was the one so far that I was thinking, man, I could straight up buy a big bottle of this and I can load this onto something like a taco or something like that.
And actually, to finish up my review, one of the things about it is that I thought, unfortunately, it was a little bit weak on the chicken nugget. Like, I liked it better straight. The chicken nugget, like, I was trying to coat that nugget in there to be able to taste it.
That was why I said I wanted kind of almost like bigger bottle, because I did want to almost like dip it like a dip, and I feel like even the heat would have been perfectly fine at that level.
I thought it tasted a lot like salsa, and there was another sauce, I think you mentioned it last week, that was salsa-esque.
Jalapeno, I think, was what he said.
But yeah, I got more of maybe a spring salsa, maybe less of something canned and heated on purpose, more of something made at home.
A little more fresh tasting.
Yeah, just a little bit more fresh of a fresh salsa.
I think they do a pretty good job on these sauces in terms of like freshness. And like I said, the ones that they really hit. And I mean, that jalapeno one, I thought flavor-wise was also phenomenal. I think the Serrano beats it out a little bit, but they do a good job when they do a good job. For me, the Sriracha one was a bit of a miss, but that's just my personal bias. Which kind of brings us on to...
I actually used the Sriracha.
Oh, yeah?
Last night and tonight.
This is a voluntary recipes.
Right?
Would you fire it on?
So I had gotten a salad, like a premix salad that had
tossed?
chickpeas and Brussels sprouts, and it had like a real light kind of
Brussels sprouts on a salad.
You lost me at chickpeas, dog.
I like chickpeas, but Brussels sprouts on a salad.
That's like the whole salad. It was just literally chopped up Brussels sprouts and chickpeas.
You sure it wasn't kale?
No, it was definitely Brussels sprouts.
It was a salad?
It was weird. I picked up a giant eagle, and I was like, I've never seen that before, so I had to pick it up.
And it was pre-made?
Yeah, it was a pre-made thing.
Now,
it was at work on Sunday. I went out
was
for
it
lunch.
hot or cold? Because I'm thinking like Brussels sprouts would be good hot, and chickpeas are good cold. Something's throwing me off here.
Chickpeas are never good.
I ate it
Never.
cold. I never tried heating it up.
Were they like roasted Brussels sprouts?
No, they were
that's
just
good.
raw.
With a little bit of
And like
bacon.
They were raw Brussels sprouts?
Raw, but they were cut real thin.
Can you eat? Are you sure it wasn't kale or
Yes,
something,
you can
dude?
eat raw Brussels sprouts.
I don't think it.
Cabbage.
Are you sure that they weren't something else? I
Maybe a
don't.
broccolini?
Because sometimes they'll slice like kale or something like that, and it'll look like
I have the
Brussels sprouts.
container in my recycle bin. I can prove it to you.
And it was just chopped. What
Anyways.
the fuck was this called?
It
What was
does
it
sound a bit
called?
bizarre, E. I mean,
It's called Brussels sprout salad.
This was
truth
something
be
they
told.
actually had for sale there?
It was the last
wait,
one.
was this like a commercial product or like something they whipped up in the kitchen? In one
Oh,
of
it's
those
something
little...
whipped up in the kitchen.
Oh, so this
there.
was like leftovers they were throwing away. Like the next step was
giant
like,
eagle chop
it
suey.
was going to be like cattle. It was going to be like cattle feed, and you're the sucker that bought it before it got sent out.
Tell you what, though,
Some teenager made that as a prank. You know that. They're like, what? Let's see what stupid fuck buys this. Jesus Christ.
Some little kid was in there
Some
playing
fucking
around.
vegan.
I kind of
Okay.
liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually pretty tasty, but I thought it could use more.
Please
So,
chime in and with your thoughts on this and let me know if this is actually something that's good or if he's a fucking maniac.
So I came home and I had some spring salad in my fridge, and I dumped my kale and chickpea salad in with some spring salad. I added a little bit of Italian dressing,
I'll be dumping it in the toilet.
and then I put on
Absolutely.
a heavy teaspoon of the Serrano or the
Sriracha.
blue agave sriracha.
You losing me so hard on this. This is gonna be worse than your fucking onion ring recipe.
That was a disaster.
It was excellent, though. I thought the salad was delicious. I had it again tonight, right before you guys came over. I put a little bit of
Dude, your farts are gonna be livid tomorrow. They're just
blue
gonna
agave sriracha with a little bit of Italian dressing. It just actually makes it like a zesty Italian
be...
dressing.
Okay.
It's good.
Wow. All right.
Recipes.
Well, it was unprompted, and
Well, I mean, it was a nice surprise.
you guys can try that and let us know what you think. I guess go for it.
I did have to
Well-
admit, I'm becoming more and more addicted to this sriracha flavoring.
Yeah,
I
it seems
like
to be maybe that's my part. Maybe I didn't try enough of it for it to grow.
You
on
didn't
me.
try it on chickpeas.
I didn't try it on fucking all of Italian dress. We'll even talk about this anymore. It's disgusting.
What kind of Italian dressing was it? Was it
Creamy, creamy
Oh.
Italian.
It was not creamy. Just the original. Been in the fridge for about a year.
original
It's
what?
getting-
Ken's or Newman's
I think it
Own?
was
Or?
Aldi's brand Berman's or whatever.
How was it? Do you want to review? Do you want to give it a rating?
Berman's.
No, I'm just kidding. We can.
Another day we'll do salad dressings.
We'll do your aged year-old salad dressing mixed with sriracha.
Yeah, my salad dressings are scary. My fridge needs cleaned out.
Moving on.
Oh, boy.
Let's get on to the next one in our collection here. We had the habanero condiment, and well, I guess I'll go first on this one because did I try this first? I think I tried it first, right?
Oh wow, did you? I didn't know. You did
I
that.
think I did. I think I grabbed it really quick. While you guys were still suckling on the Serrano bottle, but man, I tell you what, I don't know where we fell on this range of 50 and 55, but it certainly fucking felt like the higher end of that range. I mean, this shit wasn't pulling any fucking punches. It really, to me, this immediately, as soon as it hit well, first of all, I was a little bit distracted. We were talking, chatting, having fun, and I took a bigger dollop of it on a toothpick than I should have. The second it hit my tongue, it was aflame. There was no joking about this stuff. I mean, it was truly just one step short of weaponized. I mean, it was tolerable. To me, this is where we start crossing the line. And it was a sharp contrast, too, because the Serrano was very mild, and we went straight to this habanero, which was, to me, they set flavor on the back burner and went straight for heat. I don't know what you thought about it there, Eric.
And it's funny because this is actually the one sauce of all these sauces I had tried before about a year ago at my brother's, and it's not quite how I remember it. This bottle is hot. There's no doubt about it. The very first thing I wrote down was just, holy moly, it's hot.
Now, you had said before that your brother had aged his in the fridge and it got hotter the longer he kept it, right?
Yes, aging foods is a family thing.
Right, a family tradition, yeah. You gotta make this fucking salad for your brother and see what he thinks of that hot garbage.
Put
You
it,
should have served it.
He won't think it's hot enough.
You
put it
should
in the
have.
trunk of your car.
You
for
should
a
have
month.
heated up your salad to see if hot Brussels sprouts and chickpeas was any better. Jesus. But you were getting a lot of the same notes I was then, because I just, like I said, heat was the primary thing.
Yeah, it lit my tongue up for sure. And but I still think there was definitely a flavor there. And actually, when I put it onto the chicken nugget and tried it again, and I was putting it pretty liberally on that chicken nugget, it was good. It was actually like sweet initially.
Oh, really?
It brought out a sweet note.
Wow.
And then it was just hot.
You didn't read these ingredients beforehand, right?
I did not. I
Okay.
still have not read them yet.
Good, because I don't want. I know you're good. I just don't want you to be tainted by. I don't want you to be trying to make yourself look smart by telling your tasting notes based on that.
You got the inside scoop.
You know, he's sitting all night studying this.
Yeah, I mean...
Tasting notes on YellowBird hot sauces to make me sound like a genius.
We all know I'm not a genius. What do you think, TG?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, yeah, it was hot. It was really, really hot. As a matter of fact, it made my neck hot.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying it made me physically uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, there's still some artifacts that, you know, some of that heat is still lingering even after that good green Serrano sauce that we tried. I really liked it. Yeah, I didn't like it. I was surprised because you know the nose knows,
right?
And I'm smelling.
Did you try this out of order as well?
Yes,
you tried the habanero.
Oh,
first.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you tried the habanero first?
I didn't.
I did.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm the only one who knows how to follow directions, apparently.
I tried the Serrano first, and then I jumped into quickly the habanero after.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you tried the habanero first. Okay. You're saying you were the first of us to try the habanero.
Rules are made to be
first
broken.
Of us to
anyway,
try the fucking hot garbage salad.
Anyway, if I may continue, I was surprised that I didn't get a vinegar smell from it. At least I didn't, and my nose was in there pretty tight. I was really surprised at that, and maybe it's partly why maybe I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Other than the lightning bolt of heat that was there, and it still remains. I very much agree with you. I mean, you're a step away from weaponized. This is something that you go and tell people to toot your own horn. Oh,
right.
I ate this and I was sweating. Oh, it was so hot. Wow.
To me, this
Here's
isn't
a cookie. Get lost.
Exactly. And I don't think this is as hot as like a Quaker atomic sauce or anything like that.
No,
but it's past the point where it's fun. Like, I like really hot wings and stuff, but I like to be able to eat a dozen of them.
Heck yeah.
I don't think I could eat a dozen with these on there. To me, this is just, like I said, you go straight to pain. And actually, for people who enjoy kind of flirting the line on what is too hot for a sauce, this gives you kind of that slight panic in the back of your mind where you're afraid it's going to get a lot worse. And luckily it really didn't. Like I said, a lot of the heat was kind of up front as opposed to that slow build. But if I had a lot of it, I think this would be quite intolerable.
I definitely think I had a fair amount, and my tongue, I was almost to tears, I think, because I used it. I tried to eat as much of it as I really could.
Right. I took too much initially and then went back and also took too much on a chicken nugget.
So I don't think I really got the too much on chicken nugget, although afterwards, the afterburn was, definitely still there, still present. This one is a little more of a runny consistency than the blue agave sriracha.
See, that to me was what I thought was runny, and you were mocking me for it earlier, but I really thought that was really runny.
It's like pureed, the way there's like a film on the side there.
Well, to me, I felt like that was almost more like, how like if you leave kind of like applesauce set out and it kind of gets the water at the top and then you have your chunks in it. That was kind of how I felt about it. Like it was watery chunks instead of like a cohesive sauce. I could see it being good, maybe a couple drops on something, or maybe if you like put it in a chili. I know, so that's a strategy. Some people they like a really strong hot sauce, so they can just put a couple of drops in a chili.
It does seem to separate. You definitely want to shake these bottles before you try them. And chili, I'm sure would be great.
Well, I think there's a lot of like emulsifying ingredients, preservatives and stuff like you typically get in, mass-produced sauces. Maybe that's why they're a little less cohesive.
We didn't really talk about the color of this one. So this habanero condiment is like a burnt orange color, and it has a bright orange border around the signage, the front logo.
Right.
The sauce itself is a uniform color. I think it's interesting to point out, in contrast to the green sauce, where there was definitely some flecks and flakes of a much darker green.
Right. Or what was that? What did we have last week that we were noticing a lot of flakes? Was that the blue agave?
That was the blue agave sriracha.
Yeah, pretty cohesive look. Just maybe not as much in the actual, like I said, to me it felt very separated. It felt like I was getting watery heat and then just some chunks on that, which I got maybe a little bit of the sweetness you're talking about slightly, but like I had mentioned before, habanero is a very pleasant flavor if you can kind of isolate the flavor and kind of remove maybe a little bit of the heat. And to me, they did the exact opposite on this.
No, I definitely agree. Habanero has a good flavor, and unfortunately, this does not bring that forward. I think this is just it slaps with heat, a little bit of sweetness, and then it was just hot.
To me, when I like that really, really hot, I like kind of more the straight cayenne heat, whereas habanero brings more of a, like I said, more flavor and more of a little more sweetness, which I just don't find it that pleasant when it's screamingly hot like that. So,
all right, guys, guess number 2. I think you'll get this one. What is the first ingredient?
Habanero peppers.
Vinegar.
Second round. Try again.
Damn it.
Water.
Oh.
Don't tell me vinegar. I'll scream.
Jalapenos. I don't know.
It's in
Carrots.
every one of them. Carrots.
That's the first
carrots.
ingredient?
First ingredient.
Huh.
Wow.
Followed by onions and then habanero peppers.
Really?
Organic distilled vinegar, garlic.
Now, there's no seeds in this either, which is another thing I meant to. We could have brought up earlier that a lot of the heat from peppers comes from like the pith, the white part in it, and the seeds. And if they have that in here, there's not much, because I can, like, if you take the seeds and the pith out, I'll just straight up eat an habanero, and they're tolerable.
Could you imagine being a hot pepper? Like growing up being a hot pepper, all your ancestors spent 40 million years evolving nice hot seeds, so a bunch of jagoffs don't come over and eat them. And now here we are; they're ground up on our table. All that, their ancestors are weeping.
Well, I hate to reiterate this if we've already talked about this, but I can shed a little light on that too. Actually, the reason that peppers, not that evolution is, well, this is going to get controversial, but let's just take the premise that evolution is not guided by a higher power, and play on that theory for a moment. The reason that peppers evolved to be spicy like that is that they are unappealing to mammals that have teeth and chew and grind the seeds, and therefore render them unable to
too hot to handle,
sprout, to function as seeds essentially.
Ah.
And mammals also have taste buds which can taste heat, as opposed to birds, which do not have teeth and will swallow the seeds whole and then distribute them freely for the pepper.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about the bird aspect of it, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
that is
the bird wouldn't grind them up in
their gullet.
Like in their, what do they call it? The
I believe that's called a gullet.
Bird part. I don't know what the hell.
A gizzard.
Gizzard. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they have birds, especially like chickens. I don't know about other birds, but I know like especially chickens will actually have like a little pouch in their chest where they pick at grit, and they actually use that as teeth instead. But I guess that isn't abrasive enough to grind up seeds, and they pass through unscathed.
I'll be damned. Wow.
So
it's still a colossal failure on the part of the pepper.
It didn't work well. If you want to look at it this way, it worked well for most mammals aside from humans, and it worked well for birds. And then you could definitely make the argument that because humans like the peppers, we have contributed to the cultivation of many more than they ever would have had otherwise.
Good point.
Absolutely.
So I think peppers, if anything, possibly smarter than humans.
Hats off to you, peppers.
And I suppose following the same analogy, I guess peppers are pretty horny, too, because they will cross-pollinate very freely.
Right.
So you can have your habaneros growing in your garden right next to your bell peppers, and you will get hot bells.
Well, you won't get hot bells that year, but you will get hot bells the next year if you plant the seeds from those bells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the trick. But my dad actually did that. He had, like you said, he got some hot bell peppers, but they try to avoid doing that because that is the mutt of the pepper world. They want only the purebreds.
Sure.
Speaking of horniness, I wanted to dive a little bit into along your topic about why humans like them and other mammals don't. They say, I read an article that was saying that essentially the reason that certain people like hot flavor is almost like a masochistic type of pleasure that you get. Like your tongue gets kind of accustomed to that and it starts enjoying the pain of it in like a masochistic way.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
Yeah, for those of you who are into that kind of thing, there's a little extra something for you.
That's interesting.
You can eat peppers while
elaborate.
Beats the living shit out of you, I guess. Whatever.
To finish off the ingredient list, though, this also has organic sugar, tangerine juice concentrate, salt, and lime juice.
So I think it's time that we got into the new segment of our show. We're going to try something out a little different here. I'm going to say live, even though I really mean not live. We're doing this recorded on air but we've never tried this sauce before. This is the ghost pepper condiment, and you want to kind of lead us off there with a little bit of a description there, Eric?
Sure. So this YellowBird ghost pepper condiment is a very dark red. It's probably the thickest of the sauces that we've sampled in all these 5 sauces.
I think it looks like the Chipotle sauce, the Chipotle Tabasco color.
Yep.
If you recall.
I do.
Not the one you've been aging in your cupboard for the past 3 years,
No,
Eric.
that one's foul. Yeah, it does. It's definitely, very dark red, almost like a reddish brown color.
When I squeezed this out in my cup, it actually kind of looked like ketchup.
Fully agree. Like a dark ketchup.
I have that in my notes also. Yeah.
Actually
dark
reminds me
ketchup.
of the spicy Sir Kensington.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
that was a little darker if memory
It was.
serves me.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
Let's hope it's that good.
So the last thing that I noticed on this label is this is to continue with the rest of the colors here. We've got a bright red around the outside of this sample bottle. Anything else that you noticed there, TG?
I did, yeah. I'm definitely on board with the whole chunky bit. It looked like it separated a little bit. There's some wateriness to it, I thought, in the cup. One thing that I found particularly disturbing, if you have a chunk of it, it sort of moves as a unit down the inside
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
of the cup. It's certainly not as runny. It moves as one contiguous glob.
But does it have malicious intent?
Oh, it very well may. It's one of those gelatinous cubes like we see in those dungeons.
Very
Love
good.
it.
But as I smelled it, one thing struck in my mind. I think it smells like a clean public restroom.
What?
Yeah.
All right, let me get a smell.
I honestly, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're kind of... It almost sounds like that Cloroxy
Yeah.
smell initially or something.
Mm-hmm.
It does
Like
smell...
it's been through the ringer
It smells like chemicals.
as far as public bathrooms are concerned, but it's clean.
Wow, it does smell like... But there's like a hint of dirt in the background or
Mhm.
something. Yeah,
A hint
ew.
of spice. I think it actually smells a little spicy, too.
Maybe
It
maybe an
hurt
Indian
my
food.
nostrils a little bit.
Public bathroom.
Okay. Well, I guess this is just kind of time to dive into it. Now, this is
Yeah.
allegedly going to be a 23,000, which should be right in the middle of the habanero, which I'm hoping that we got on the high side of. But let's dive into it
All
here.
right, careful dips there, boys. Careful dips.
Oh fuck! Oh yeah, I'm getting that back of the throat burn. Oh Jesus, I don't like. Okay, yeah. Fuck.
I think it started off more mild.
No,
And then it hits.
did. This was the exact opposite of the habanero, where I was saying like the habanero, I was kind of afraid of. You know how like when I was saying you get kind of concerned about the heat creeping up on you more than you're really ready for. That's exactly the experience I got with this.
This is a bizarro world. I'm sitting here cool as a clam, man.
You're good.
Yeah.
And you tried it on a nugget?
Yeah, I just gave it a dunk. And as a matter of fact, I thought I gave it too much of a dunk.
Really? I just took a tiny little dollop on a toothpick.
Yeah.
I'm going in
Try
on
it straight.
a toothpick.
Try some on a toothpick, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I had nothing. I'm going to try it on a nugget too, and I might be the most, the least heat sensitive, if you would, of the group. You're good, really.
I'm comfortable. I'm in very good shape.
And now you definitely got burned from the habanero, right?
Absolutely. And that other one was quite unpleasant, the one from last week also. But this is not bad.
I don't know, it does have a heat that builds, though. I mean, even eating the chicken nugget now, like,
This is my
still
second
in the back
nugget,
of the
yeah.
throat, kind of like burn, I think.
I find it tolerable on chicken nugget, just because there's a little bit of something there to kind of clear it. But man, I'm still getting a lot of burn.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle. This is actually surprisingly good. I was dreading this.
I am shocked. I don't know how, unless you've been like hustling us the whole time. I don't. You sure you don't have COVID or something?
yeah, right.
I know that's what I'm saying, but you definitely noticed the habanero, so
Oh, it's not that I don't notice it.
maybe
but
you're
it's-
like immune to it or something.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not hot because there's a bite,
Right.
but it's not uncomfortable. It didn't make me uncomfortable like that orange one did, that habanero did.
Oh,
That's
I don't know.
weird.
I
got
definitely
scared,
think it's
dude.
hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Like, I got scared after my first bite. I was starting to get that panic reaction where I needed to get milk or something.
Huh. You seen that, right?
That was a bigger dollop than I took the first
You seen
time.
that?
And you're good.
I'm good.
Dude, I'm speechless. I don't understand how you just did that.
Hitting me a little bit now. But not to the point where it's...
Yeah, you're not acting nearly as bad as I was.
Yeah, not nearly as bad as I was expecting.
That's weird. Well, maybe since you were growing them the 1 year, maybe you've developed an immunity to them.
That's true. Was that a ghost pepper that we had
That was
tried?
a ghost pepper. That is weird because I was like, man, that initially that really hit me. Now the flavor on this one, I I'll be honest with you, I like the flavor a lot better than the habanero.
That was outstanding flavor, yeah.
Because to me, it had almost kind of like that earthiness, a little bit more savoriness to it, which I actually really liked. And honestly, like, maybe you could tone this down a little bit on a chicken wing or something. I could definitely be down on this. You're suffering too, Eric, I can tell.
I am suffering. The afterburn at this point, I am
My tongue is on. It's still like...
My lips are on fire even.
See, I put it directly into my mouth. I didn't even touch my lips because I knew how that goes.
In this cold weather, your chapped lips, you'll be through the roof.
Ooh, I'm trying to... I mean, I'm really trying to work up to trying another little dollop of that, like that size you just ate. I don't know how you did that, truly.
Yeah, that was probably my third dip, maybe.
So yeah, you ate the most out of any of us. I watched you do it.
Well, that last piece of chicken nugget that I had there, I'd taken all the sauce that I had in my cup, so I just dropped the quarter of a chicken nugget into my cup, and then I just smothered it in ghost pepper sauce or condiment, I should say.
Yeah, get it right.
And and I ate it, and it definitely has a lot of good flavor, but it is hot. I'm like, it's interesting. It's still burning even in my chest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was. Oh man, that makes me think that we got towards the lower end of the habanero, if you think about it, because. This was definitely I think this was definitely spicier. They're saying they're pretty firm on that 23,000, which makes me think we got the lower end of the habanero condiment.
Wow.
At 15,000.
Or about there. I mean, I don't think this was greatly hotter. I think personally, I think it is a little bit hotter than the habanero, but I don't think it's like, at this point, the afterburn. I think it's just a different timing of the heat. Oh, now my nose is running.
Yeah, you're falling apart over here, dude, which is funny because I know normally you're more of a fan of the heat than Tori is by far. So this is really a shocking turn of events.
I would say so. You just listened to history.
Podcast history here, yeah. Wow. See, I'm glad we decided to do this, quote unquote live because now we actually got this historic moment on record.
Right. And you can't handle all that excitement across one episode. It's just too much for the body to handle.
Fake it. This was like a reverse Sixth Sense type ending here almost,
Wow. I was really expecting to grill the hell out of that sauce just to give it the business. And I started off strong. And, wow, I almost feel bad with my previous comments.
I thought the flavor was good on it, though, personally. I thought the flavor was much better on that than the habanero.
Do you want to go first officially on the record? Is this like, where is this sauce for you in the YellowBird lineup? And how does it compare, like, as sauces go?
It may be a running for second or third out of this YellowBird lineup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Green's going first, and one of the ones from the agave was good. I sort of like that ghost pepper one. I don't know. May edged out for the 2 spot.
This will be fun too. Now that we've tried all these sauces, we can let's go back and normally for the listeners we do a rating based on our personal taste, how we like the sauce itself, and then we do a rating of the heat of it. And I'm thinking maybe for this one here, we can actually go back and kind of rank the sauces in the order that we like them best, even. I guess we can kind of lead off with that here now that we're kind of coming down after the after effects of this ghost pepper sauce here. I guess, Eric, if you want to start us off with the Serrano, go ahead and give us your... We'll do the rating on all 5 of the sauces last, so go ahead and just give us your initial taste and heat rating for this. Okay.
So the Serrano, for me, was really tasty and really flavorful. I'm going to give it... I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 on taste. Okay. And then the heat. The heat was definitely more of an after thing. Like I said, it was kind of cool,
right,
and flavorful. And then it hit with that heat. But I don't think it was that bad at all. Definitely more than Frank's. And I think I might even stay true to saying it was more than the jalapeno and the blue agave sriracha. So I guess I'd have to give this one maybe a 6.5.
Okay.
Stay true.
What do you think about that Serrano there, Tori?
I liked it. I was very, very pleasantly surprised tonight. Yep. I was sweating it. Honest to goodness, I wasn't looking forward to finishing out this podcast tonight. But yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought it was really good. Man, I would give it a 7. I thought it was,
wow.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was fresh. I thought it was good. The heat was on the money. It wasn't overbearing. Yeah, I think a bottle of that size, I think would do me great. I don't think I would need any larger than that. Getting back to the idea that there are no preservatives or nothing like that, I think that would be a perfect size bottle for me if it came down to it. Yeah, 7.
Okay. And for heat?
not awful. Maybe a 5.
Okay.
5.5.
On par with Frank's Red Hot
Yeah,
sauce.
yeah. Not. It's there, but it's not offensive.
I think I'm actually almost in perfect agreement with you on this. I think I'm going to come in for flavor on this like a 7. And I'm thinking for heat, like you said, like a 5. I think I gave the jalapeno and the agave maybe like a 4. So I'm thinking that probably 5 is pretty fair for this on heat.
Yeah.
Eric?
Then I'll lead in onto the habanero.
Yeah.
The habanero I really wanted to like because I've had it before in the past, and I
This was the reason that you bought this
it
kit,
is
right?
the reason I
Right,
bought this
yeah.
kit. Unfortunately, I don't think it was as flavorful as many of these other sauces. And this particular batch, it was just hot. It just really,
I couldn't agree more.
unfortunately,
The
taste-wise.
Probably the least flavor of any of the sauces that we tried, I think.
Yeah. I might even, such a bad rate. I might even give it, I think, like a 3. A 3
Wow.
on the taste.
Wow.
But the heat, of course, now we're talking, it brought the heat. So I would say this one was probably, we'll go with a 9 on heat.
Okay.
I'm in line with ye. Yeah, I didn't like it. It's heat for heat's sake. I didn't get the sweetness like you guys were talking about at all. I just got an uncomfortable feeling. My neck was hot. So that's a no-go. I don't like it. I can see the gimmicky nature. I can see its appeal, but not for me. So 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.5. For flavor, I mean, you get anywhere north of 7, 8. 8's probably the highest I'll go. You get uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm up there with you with a 9.
For heat.
For the heat, yeah. Too
Okay.
uncomfortable, too much. No flavor.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be pretty much in line with you guys too. I'm gonna say for flavor on this one, what I got wasn't bad. I just got very little of it, and I didn't like the texture, kind of watery. Overall experience there, like I said, I like the habanero flavor, which I didn't really get a whole lot of. It just maybe a hint of sweetness, if anything. And yeah, I'll roll into a 2 as far as that goes. Heat, I'm gonna go in at an 8 for heat, and I think that's it's pretty fair. Like I said, it was tolerable, but it was definitely up there. And then lastly, you kind of want to wrap it up there on your thoughts on the ghost pepper there, Eric?
The last of this sampler pack here, the ghost pepper, which I think we all were definitely afraid of going into it a little bit. It was hot. It was definitely hot, but it was really flavorful and almost like complex in flavors. And of course, we didn't do the whole. What's your first ingredient, guys?
I don't know. Just fucking read it.
I like the game. I like to take a guess.
I don't need to play the guessing game for every one of them.
I'm going to go with the obvious. Pureed ghost pepper.
Okay, it's pureed tomato paste. But
damn it!
They seem to use a lot of other vegetables in these, which I also I do like that.
I like that,
It balances the flavor out, I feel like.
So it's tomato paste and carrots, onions, then vinegar, then garlic, then sugar, then tangerine juice, and then the ghost pepper.
Wow.
Guess you don't need a lot of
saying
that, huh?
something, yeah.
Yeah, that is. Salt, lime. Wow.
I actually got a lot more heat out of this than when you and I sat down and ate those ghost peppers straight up out of Tori's garden.
I agree.
Those I thought were quite manageable.
Yeah, they weren't bad at all. I'm like, do they get hotter as they ripen? Is that a thing?
Maybe, or it may just be the fact that it's this, whatever salt and vinegar they have in these kind of amp that flavor up or something. Or maybe you got a particularly mild batch. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that ghost pepper, I remember when we ate it, was pretty pale looking.
It was pretty ripe, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like the peppers I've had, they retain heat like immediately upon bearing fruit. Like I don't think that the heat increases that dramatically.
Well, that's true. That's another thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but isn't like a pepper, when the little pepper is being formed or whatever, it has all the heat it's going to have?
I think I've said that before, but I don't have any verification of that. I think you might just be remembering my a factoid I made up there.
It might be true, though. I don't know.
It may not be
Anyways.
either.
The flavor was good. It was complex.
Let's take a hard stance on it. Peppers don't get any hotter as they get older. As soon as it pops into a fruit, it has 100% flavor, 100% heat.
100% all the heat. All the heat it will ever have.
All the heat it'll ever have.
Flavor-wise, though, it was good in flavor, so I'm going to have to give it a 7. And and heat, it definitely brought it, but it wasn't like the habanero where it was so overpowering. It definitely built up to that, I would say, but I would say the initial level, I'd only give it maybe an 8 instead of a 9.
Okay. Now you said 8 out of 9, you gave the habanero a 9, right?
I did.
Oh, so you think this was less than the habanero?
because initially, and the initial heat was less than the habanero. The habanero really slapped with the punch right off the bat, where this one, it builds up to that. I
watched you eat that ghost pepper, and I disagree based on your reaction, but that's okay.
You did have a rough time with that,
I'll let it slide. What about you there, Tori? You're going to be a 1.5 on the heat?
I'm still in shock. Yeah, I still can't get over what transpired within the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
With everything going on. Yeah, I was blown away. My anticipation and what happened couldn't have been farther from each other. Entirely 180. I was expecting too hot to eat. I was expecting that insensitive caricature that you made of me earlier, reacting to a particular hot sauce. You're not going to get any of that tonight. And even I promised that you were going to get more, and you're not going to get more. Instead, you're going to get something quite enthusiastic. That was terrific. That was really good. The heat was there. I mean, I'm not going to scare everybody. You're going to get COVID over the airwaves. I promised I'm COVID free. I tasted the heat, but it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't overpowering. It was very, very pleasant.
And it didn't even build for you. It didn't get more and more hot.
It hung out for a minute or two, but not bad. Not to the standard that I would hold a ghost pepper otherwise,
right.
Especially in comparison to the habanero, which was just 5 alarms. That was insane.
I'm going to go ahead and say you just have freak immunity somehow.
Maybe. Maybe that's the case.
Some kind of a mutation.
I thought the flavor was really good. I think that's a direct function of the heat not overpowering that flavor. So to that end, I slap my ass and
call you Sally.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna give it an 8. I mean, wow, I'm in shock. Yeah, cool. 8 for flavor. That was really good. And for the heat, maybe a 7 and change. Right on. I don't want to say right on the edge of uncomfortable. A nice a nice gap in between where it was and uncomfortable.
Okay.
So maybe 7. Yeah, maybe 6.5, 7. 6 3/4. 6.89, we'll call it.
Perhaps 6 2/3?
6.89 repeating.
I was thinking 6.66 repeating.
No.
No, not the devil's number.
Absolutely not. But no, my heart breaks because I know I said some really mean things about the way it smelled. The nose knows.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, you were spot on with that, though.
But yeah, that's not. It's a bit disparaging. Let's call a spade a spade.
No, but I mean, last week we had mentioned the astringent qualities, and I think that was a good.
Okay. Fair enough.
I wonder what it is that's giving it that smell. When I read those ingredients, I mean,
I don't know either.
It's a combination of the tomato and vinegar.
None of the rest of them are like that, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so at all.
You're usually pretty good on the nose there, Tori.
The nose, man. Ever since I quit smoking.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of like chili too, though. I think
that's the tomato paste you're getting.
Yeah, I must be.
Which I think actually is what I wanted to kind of bring in too. When we first squeezed it out, and I said it seemed like ketchup. I think that's exactly what it was. And on the same way there, for my flavor rating, I was going to roll in at like a 5 because to me, I thought it was right in the ballpark of like a Heinz ketchup. And I got a lot of like tomatoey ketchup type of notes off of it. So yeah, I'm going to roll in a 5, and I don't think that's a bad rating. I think that's right in the middle.
Quite mediocre, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Right in the middle. But I love ketchup. We've mentioned this before, so I don't find that to be a disparaging rating at all. Now for the heat, straight up 9. I mean, I've had hotter. Only maybe a couple of times in sauces because I don't normally go for the absolute hottest ones they have. But this, to me, I'm going to go ahead and give it a fair 9.
On its own, you'll definitely notice it, I think. I don't know how... Yeah, TG, you just...
Allow me to be clear. I noticed it, but no sinus issue, no eyes watering, no hot neck.
And no COVID.
Which is paramount. Yeah, and of course, no COVID.
Did you try wearing it like lipstick, though?
Put some under your fingernails.
Yeah, put some under my fingernails.
Do a little snooter of it, maybe.
Put some on E's underwear.
Try his E's neti pot technique.
That's right.
So I wanted to kind of go back, now that we're kind of wrapping up our review of these 5 here, I wanted to go, let's just kind of blitz through, give us your most favorite first and your least favorite last. Just give a quick run through of all 5 there. And you want to lead us off, Tori?
Oh, yeah, sure. The green one hits. Number 1, of course.
Serrano,
yes. The ghost pepper is at a second. The rest of the bunch, minus the habanero, is tied for third, and habanero is dead last by a mile.
Okay. Habanero.
What the hell did I say?
Habanero.
Oh, whatever.
The fucking peppers. Okay, well, Eric, you want to give us your thoughts?
Yeah, it's almost tough. The ones that I like, it's trying to figure out where I want to order them. So I really do... Really like the blue agave sriracha. I think I still might like that the most. And then I'll go with the Serrano as my second. And then probably the ghost pepper is third. and then the jalapeno, and then the habanero.
Wow.
I mean, and to be fair, to be honest, I mean, the jalapeno is still a really good flavor.
Right.
And it's a tasty sauce. I said it was like, be excellent with like chips. It's just, I don't know. The other ones are just that much better in my mind.
For me, it would be a tough kind of battle between the Serrano and the jalapeno. I really love that freshness of the jalapeno, and I almost kind of would prefer it with a little bit more of the heat and texture of the Serrano. I think that would be ideal. That being said, I'd be afraid that the jalapeno would get kind of washed out if I tried it on some food. So I'm going to say Serrano 1, jalapeno 2, ghost pepper 3, habanero 4, and that sriracha I just did, no, it wasn't doing it for me. Not something about that I do not like. And I did want to mention as well that the limited edition sauce that we had discussed last week is the Super Serranic, which is actually a variation on their Serrano. At some point in the future, I mean, it's limited time only. I know you like buying the limited edition Kickstarter stuff, Eric. You're
saying now's my time to shine.
Well, I'm just saying I would be willing to give that one a shot based on our favored opinions on the Serrano for this.
I'd certainly be interested in trying it. That sounds neat.
All right, well, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this. This was an exciting little two-part episode. Two new things. Our first two-part episode and our first quote-unquote live tasting. So that was fun.
Yeah, let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want some more of that kind of stuff, feel free to, kind of let us know. Eric, do you have any kind of closing thoughts you want to lead us off with here?
Don't be afraid to try something new, even if you think you're going to be afraid of it.
You son of a bitch. That was exactly what I was going to say, because if we have to point fingers, probably someone least likely to try something new might be Tori.
I know what I like, and I know what I don't like.
And that was my exact thought, was that here we all learned something new, shocked ourselves. It's something you were initially very tentative about going into. That was good.
Everyone's biting off my wholesome
No. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh.
I'm shagging.
I was saying, because I literally have that written down here. Try something new on my notes.
I can't see it from there, so, it's just...
You are a famous note stealer. I don't know how you saw it, but
yes.
I know you've stolen Tori's notes before, so...
Complex mirror system.
Sneaky E will always reign, so...
I could definitely see him having hidden cameras in this house.
I do.
The Nerd Palace.
Right over there.
I wanted to take some pictures for Instagram of your Nerd Palace, too, so, but...
Oh, jeez.
You got any closing thoughts for us, Tori? You're always good for a solid landing for closing there.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, we had a great deal of variety within these last 2 weeks over the course of these last 2 episodes. And, some sauces were good, some were bad, but they all, I guess in some of our opinions, they all have their own particular uniqueness, their own quirks, if you will, and they all stand out on their own merits. So go ahead and apply that to your own life and be different, man. Stand out. Don't follow the rules, especially not AP's rules. They're cockamamie. But yeah, go out and have a little bit of fun and, be different and be unique because, why the hell not?
That's great. I'm going to reach out to YellowBird, I think on the Instagram. If you guys want to listen to our episode, we want to slog through all 2.5 hours of this and get back to us and let us know your input on what we got wrong, what we got right. Maybe we hit upon some constructive criticism for what seems like a budding small business. We'd be happy to have that interaction with you. And lastly, to our listeners, thanks for sticking with us through a little bit of a two-parter here. Like I said, let us know if you like it. If you did like it, if you like this kind of format, if you'd like to, feel free, like I said before, go ahead and reach out to us on, like an iTunes, give us a rating or a review or whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you're like Spotify, like I do, go ahead and give us a follow, and we really appreciate that. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Have a good night.
Hey there, that was a really good episode, and we really appreciate you listening all the way to the end. We'd really appreciate to hear your comments and suggestions, and we can be reached at softSpoken@gmail.com. From time to time, we like to put up pictures on Instagram. Feel free to follow us there at SoftSpokenOfficial. And lastly, we would love it if you could give us some ratings and reviews on whatever platform you're listening to. Thanks again. Make sure to catch us next week. This is Soft Spoken.